After the enormous success of Star Wars A New Hope in 1977, George Lucas had the difficult task of following it up, and somehow, The Empire Strikes Back ended up being what most people would consider the best Star Wars film ever, even surpassing the original. The film was directed by Irvin Kershner instead of George Lucas this time, due to the stress Lucas had on the first film. The screenplay was adapted from George Lucas's story by Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan. Lee was initially hired to write the sequel, but unfortunately died in 1978. Lucas then wrote the next draft, before hiring Kasdan. The film was originally given a budget of $8 million, but after multiple production issues, it ballooned to $30.5 million. After much anticipation and almost 3 years after the original, The Empire Strikes Back released on the 21st of May 1980, and it was met with critical acclaim. So in this video I'm going to revisit the film and take a look at it in more detail. Hi everyone, I'm Firelink Frontier, welcome to the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, please like the video and subscribe. The Empire Strikes Back picks up 3 years after the events of A New Hope. What I like about A New Hope is that it technically could stand on its own. The effects of the destruction of the Death Star are left unclear in the film's ending, and you could assume that the rebels had won. But as we pick up 3 years later, it seems the Empire is still in control, and the destruction of the Death Star caused minimal damage to the Empire. Darth Vader has dispatched probe droids to find the Rebel Alliance. A probe droid discovers the base on the ice planet Hoth, and the Empire launches an attack. Luke, Han and Leia are on the planet with Chewbacca, C-3PO and R2-D2. Luke goes to investigate the probe crash site, but before he can get there, he is attacked and captured by a Wampa. He's hung up in a cave, and the cave scene is great. We see our first real use of the Force. So far we've heard that the Force is an energy field, and we've seen it used to help Luke aim and detect blast hits, but now this is the first time we've seen it used to control objects. He uses the Force to get his lightsaber, that's just out of reach, and he escapes the Wampa. Luke wanders the ice field, nearly dying from hypothermia, when he sees a vision of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan tells him to go to the Dagobah system to learn from the Jedi Master Yoda. Luckily Han is able to rescue Luke, and in a really gross scene, he uses a dead Tauntaun to keep him warm. The Empire's invasion begins, and we see the Battle of Hoth. This is one of my favourite battles. I like the ones in space, but battles on the planet's surface just always feels like they have higher stakes for me. The Empire uses AT-ATs, all those giant robot camel things. In universe I'm not sure how practical AT-ATs are. The use of stop motion here really gives them a great mechanical look, and the backgrounds are actually matte paintings. We again see a great use of practical effects that I think have aged very well. After the invading Imperial forces reach the base, the trio is forced to split up. Luke heads off to find Master Yoda on Dagobah, and Han and Leia escape Hoth in the Millennium Falcon. It seems like a brave decision to split the trio up, especially after the success of the first film. It must have been tempting to keep them all together, but splitting them up creates a much tenser story. Darth Vader's goal in the film is to capture the Millennium Falcon, firstly as it helped to destroy the Death Star, and secondly to capture Luke by using Han and Leia as bait. After the escape from Hoth, Han and Leia hide in an asteroid field as they attempt to evade Imperial forces. We see Leia and Han become closer, despite all the tension going on. They seek refuge in Cloud City on the planet Bespin. The city is governed by Han's old friend, Lando Calrissian, played by Billy D. Williams. Vader meanwhile has hired bounty hunters to track them down, including Boba Fett. Lando betrays Han and Leia, leading them into a trap, and in this scene, Darth Vader has one of the coolest lines in the trilogy.
We would be honoured if you would join us.
While that's happening, Luke reaches Dagobah. He crash lands in a strange swamp, and meets a strange little creature who turns out to be Master Yoda. The scene where Luke first meets Yoda, and Yoda's chucking all his things about, always makes me laugh. It's so funny that this is the head of the Jedi. Yoda and the spirit of Obi-Wan disgust Luke, and Yoda reluctantly accepts him as his apprentice. The training scenes are great as well, as we see Yoda training Luke, and Luke struggling to control his anger and impulsiveness. As part of his training, Luke battles a strange apparition in the form of Darth Vader. Luke cuts off Vader's head and his own face appears in the helmet. I actually like these scenes, and they feel strange and almost dreamlike, but I've always wondered what it actually means. My interpretation is that it's a warning to Luke, that if he goes down the same path as his father, by not controlling his anger, he'll end up just like Darth Vader. Also, Yoda lifting the X-Wing out of the swamp is such a great scene, as we see this little old Jedi is so powerful with the Force. It's here that Luke senses Han and Leia are in danger, and he goes off to Bespin, against the wishes of Yoda. As he's leaving, Obi-Wan says, "That boy is our last hope," and Yoda replies, "No, there is another." I can only imagine what it would have been like, having to wait 3 years to see the next film, and find out what he meant. Vader has Han tortured, causing Luke to sense he's in danger. Vader then has Han frozen in carbonite, but not before Leia tells Han she loves him, and Han replies, "I know." I love that line, it just sums up his character. Also, Lando redeems himself and rescues Leia, Chewbacca and C-3PO. But they're too late to save Han, who's been taken by Boba Fett, who plans to collect the bounty from Jabba the Hutt. Luke arrives on Cloud City for one of the best confrontations in the series. He and Vader fight, but we see Vader easily blocks his attacks. He's almost toying with him, and we can see the vast skill difference between them and how unprepared Luke was. It culminates with Vader cutting Luke's arm off, and with one of the best twists in cinema, Vader tells Luke that he is his father. Apparently during the filming, the actor said a different line, so that the twist wouldn't be leaked. I've heard that they said Obi-Wan killed his father, and the line was later dubbed over in post-production. The fake twist was then leaked to a newspaper, and the true secret, that was only known by a select few, went on to become one of the best twists in all of cinema. Luke is horrified. He jumps off the ledge, and he can't have had any way of knowing that he'd actually survive. So was he actually planning to end it there? But he somehow survives, and is rescued by Lando and Leia. He gets a new hand and the film ends there. What a cliffhanger to end it on. And imagine having to wait 3 years for the next film. Han's been captured, Luke is Vader's son, and we've heard that there's another hope out there. Empire Strikes Back is not only a great Star Wars film, but a great film in general. It expands upon the first film, and even surpasses it. The impact it's had on cinema, and on sci-fi as a whole, is massive. I feel like almost everyone knows the twist at this point, even if you haven't seen the film. The film is referenced all over the place, from Marvel to Toy Story. It's such a fantastic film, and John Williams returns with a great score. This film also had the least amount of changes compared to the others. I'm not sure about changing Boba Fett's voice. I know it's established in the prequels that he's a clone, but it doesn't sit right with me replacing an actor's work, years and years after the film's release, and removing him from the film. But overall the film is great, and after re-watching it, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. I'm Firelink Frontier. I hope you've enjoyed the video and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, please like the video and subscribe.